Good morning, everyone, on Friday, April the 17th. Celeste, I see you out there. Good to have you with us again this morning. So we have our daily dose of good news. Today coming from 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, verses 1 to 11. Now I would remind you, brothers and sisters, of the good news that I proclaimed to you, which you in turn received, in which you also stand, through which also you are being saved, if you hold firmly to the message that I proclaimed to you, unless you have come to believe in vain. For I handed on to you as of first importance what I in turn had received, that Christ died for our sins in accordance with the Scriptures, that he was buried, and that he was raised on the third day in accordance with the Scriptures. And he appeared to Cephas, then to the 12. Then he appeared to more than 500 brothers and sisters at one time, most of whom are still alive, though some have died. Then he appeared to James, then to all the apostles. Last of all, as to one untimely born, he appeared also to me. For I am the least of the apostles, unfit to be called an apostle, because I persecuted the church of God. But by the grace of God, I am what I am. And his grace toward me has not been in vain. On the contrary, I work harder than any of them, though it was not I, but the grace of God that is with me. Whether then it was I or they, so we proclaim, and so we have come to believe. The word of the Lord. Oh, with a little playful analogy for Friday Daily Dose of Good News. I have to tell you that most often when I hear this passage, I am reminded of a beloved childhood cartoon character in my life, that being Popeye. Popeye, the sailor man who would always confess the actions of his exploits with the catchphrase, I am what I am, echoing that of Paul in our Bible reading for today. If you're not familiar with Popeye, if you're too young or you've forgotten, you might do yourself a favor today and Google Popeye and catch a couple of episodes to remember this iconic character of Americana cartoon life. His episodes and actions were largely in the deliverance of his damsel in distress, Olive Oyl, from the dangers that would surround her. And then once he had suitably saved her and saved the day, he would summarize his exploits with the theme song of all of his cartoons. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm strong to the finish 'cause I eats me spinach. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. Toot toot. Well, echoing a little bit of what Paul's saying in our lesson today in a playful way, Popeye attributes the strength he has, superhuman strength, for these deliverance episodes with Olive Oyl to the spinach that he eats so regularly and he sees as the source of his strength. Paul, as he is writing to those with whom he has shared faith in Jesus' resurrection and encourages them in their faith, also recognizes that the power he has to do so is not a power within himself. Indeed, his power has been used to persecute believers until his own conversion. Even after that conversion, working as hard as he did, he recognizes it's not his efforts by which others come to believe, but it is by the grace of God working through him. Not the power to deliver even himself from trouble, as he speaks many times to his followers from prison himself, but he does have the power of faith to remind people that God is with them in all of their trials, and will see them through those trials as Jesus' resurrection from the dead testifies to God's accompaniment and saving power in the lives of all of us. And that is our power too. Certainly not the power to deliver those from danger sometimes in the way that we want, but to accompany them and to remind them that God indeed stands with them, even in the midst of trouble. Although if your courage in the midst of suffering is anything like mine, you too might understand and appreciate that it's God within us that gives us the power of that faith to see us through. And with that power, the opportunity to stand with others, that they might recognize the promise of their God to be with them always and to see them through the trials of their days. Toot toot. One announcement for the good of the community this day is to let you know, it sounds like our sheltering order is going to start changing a little bit May the 1st in sort of phases throughout, and we're not quite sure what that means for us as a worshiping congregation and a ministry, but we'll be watching closely and working to get together again as soon as we can, as safely as we can. To that effort, we're putting together a task force of folks that are going to look at safe practices for us once we return to church. How we might visit and meet, how we might keep appropriate distance with one another as we're celebrating the grace of God among us, how we can prepare our facility for that purpose, whether with plexiglass screens in some places and having people move through the building in a particular direction all the time, the way we're doing in grocery stores and things like that. So Kurt Passifhume will be leading that task force for us. We'll be asking others from the medical professions they would like to join him in that, so that when the time is right and it is appropriate for us to gather again, we might do so as fully and meaningfully as possible. So be watching for details on that. Continue to take care of yourselves and those whom you love, and let us know if there's anything that we can be doing to support you. Have a great day, everybody. We'll talk to you again. Bye-bye.